If you've been looking forward to the PYRO ARCHON and Mavuika coming to Genshin Impact, well, I have some bad news for you. Come in here real quick. That's because her entire kit basically just got nerfed. So just how bad has it been? Well, let's check it out. Let's go over Mavuika. Let's go over her kit. I'll give you a little bit of the silver lining here. The good news is, well, her Claymore form, her base form that you won't use at all, hasn't been touched at all. Hasn't been buffed, hasn't been nerfed. Nothing's been changed there. Bad news though, the elemental skill, the motorcycle form, none of the normal attack combo strings that you can do have had their multipliers changed, but the bad part about this is that the mass majority of her on-field damage during that form comes from her motorcycle form charged attack. And this has been sort of touched down quite a bit. It used to have a 217% mod as you go about it. Now it's 195% mod. And the final attack damage used to be a 299.2% mod. And this has been nerfed down to 272% multiplier. So this isn't like the end all be all. It hasn't been, smashed into the floor, but the multiplier has been reduced, and this is going to be sort of multiplied on because some of the other parts of her kit which buff up this skill have also been nerfed down a little bit as well. So let's touch on the elemental burst here real quick. Normal attack for the elemental burst damage bonus. Now this has been lowered from 0.72% to 0.51% per fighting spirit use. So when you activate Mavuika's elemental burst, remember she doesn't use energy anymore. She's going to be using this fighting spirit mechanic that can go all the way up to 200 fighting spirit max. You need to have 50% of the gauge full, so you can activate it at 100. But if you want the full benefit from this passive, you want to get up to as close to 200 as possible, which is using the abilities of characters in your party from Natlan that can increase and decrease their night soul point meter. So if you can get up to 100 of your gauge base and just activate her burst, which would be 72% normal attack bonus for every 100 in fighting spirit. If you max it all the way up to 200, you'd get a 144% attack bonus. This has been nuked all the way down to 0.51% per fighting spirit, meaning yes, at 100 in fighting spirit, you're gonna get 51% instead of 72%. And then at 200, you're only gonna get 102% instead of 144% normal attack bonus. Now this sounds bad enough, but it gets a little bit worse here for our hero PYRO ARCHON Mavuika lovers out there. The charge attack bonus has also been substantially reduced as well. Hit even harder than the normal attack bonus. She used to get 1.44% charge attack damage bonus for every fighting spirit. That would be at 100 fighting spirit, you would get 144% charge attack bonus. If you hit 200 fighting spirit, this would be 288% charge attack bonus from your elemental burst damage bonus. It is now a 1.02% damage bonus for every fighting spirit, meaning that at 100 fighting spirit, you get 102% instead of 144%. And even worse, if you were doing a build maximizing how much fighting spirit you could gain with the team members from Natlan, you are going to get 102% at 100 and 204% at 200 fighting spirit instead of 288%. So this, coupled with the fact that the multiplier on her charge attack damage bonus for the motorcycle form has been nerfed as well, is a pretty significant reduction in the amount of outgoing damage that you're expected to see out of Mavuika. Now, does this make her absolutely unusable? No, obviously not. It's still Genshin Impact, but she has been toned down as of right now compared to what she was before in the damage department. Sadly though, this isn't the only thing that got nerfed for her. Now, some other things that got nerfed for her first passive Ascension talent here, this is just going to give you a little bit of bonus attack when someone activates a Night Soul Burst in your team. It used to be 35% attack bonus. Now it's going to be 30%. This is the smallest of the nerfs out of everything we see here. 5% change in the attack bonus you get off of this passive is not that big of a deal. The second passive though is the supportive aspect of her abilities, where she activates a certain thing, then she can give the active character damage bonus based on fighting spirit consumption. And this used to be 0.25% per point of fighting spirit to the active character, and it would max out at 50% damage bonus. This would also include the likes of herself as well if she was going to be your on-field character during the duration of this buff. Now it's 0.2% per stack of fighting spirit, and it caps at 40%. So not only has the multipliers on her motorcycle form been nerfed, the damage bonus that you get per fighting spirit on her elemental burst also been nerfed by a pretty significant margin. You're also going to get a little bit less attack off of her first essential passive, and the second passive, one of the coolest ones that allows her to just buff herself or someone else that's out on the field, has also been nerfed. So her own damage has been nerfed, and her supportive aspects has been nerfed too, and this is just in her base kit at Constellation 0. Constellation 2 has also seen a change. Go figure. Now you're gonna get a less base attack off of this Constellation. Used to be 300, now it's a 200 attack increase. And then there also was a damage bonus based on form, which was, it used to be 80%, 130%, and 180% breakpoint thresholds. These have also been reduced to 60%, 90%, and 120% as well. Now, these changes indicate a focus on reducing her overall damage output, whether she's on or off field, but it also is going to slightly nerf the little bit of damage bonus that she can give other teammates, which we've seen the likes of characters theorizing and players theorizing an off-field Mavuika team with the likes of Mulani as your on-field driver, using Nahida in the combination with Mavuika to do the burning dendro related elemental reactions, so you can actually get as many vaporizes off of someone like Mulani as possible. That build isn't going to be suffering a whole ton, that team anyway, from these changes. It is going to be being reduced by a little bit though, because of that 50 to 40% cap on her damage bonus from her second ascension passive. It is worth noting that despite these nerfs, and they are kind of heavy in a lot of circumstances overall because it encompasses the entirety of her kit, she is still looking to be pretty strong. Although one of the weaknesses of Mavuika is that, well, a lot of this fighting spirit shenanigans that she wants to be using for her elemental burst, you want to be able to gain access to it as quickly as possible. You also want to be able to go over that 100 fighting spirit maximum to activate her burst. You want to get up to as close to 200 as possible, which literally ties her to characters like Shalonin or Sitlali, who is coming out as well. Characters who have the ability to be from Natlan, fit into a Mavuika team and add something of value, whether it be resistant shred and healing from the likes of someone like Shalonin, or more resistant shred for pyro related reactions from characters like Sitlali, while also consuming and using Night Soul points to fill up Mavuika's meter for her elemental burst as well. There's gonna be a couple of things that you guys can do. A lot of her teams are still putting up pretty good numbers. Was this nerf justified? I don't know. A lot of you all Calico mains out there will probably, you know, if you're a hater, you're like, I got our Calico, I didn't need this character. You might be celebrating a little bit, but we'll see if these changes get reverted slightly, or in some ways. The damage multiplier isn't really that big of a hit in my opinion. The attack percent reduction on her A1 passive isn't that big of a hit. The damage bonus supportive passive going from 50% cap to 40% cap isn't that big of a hit. But the biggest hit here is that fighting spirit to normal and charge attack damage bonus for a main on-field driver like Mulani, because a lot of the teams that she utilized didn't have a lot of damage percent bonus in the team itself, using something like maybe Hero the Cinder City set on Shalonin. What it really utilized was having someone like Bennett in the team to give her a giant attack up bonus. She would have all of the damage percent bonus in her own kit, and then you'd pair her with like Shalonin plus Sitlali for a lot of pyro resistant shred, and then you add some elemental reactions in there. And well, that was just a really, really strong team. So it looked like they wanted to tone that down a little bit, maybe adding some benefits to someone like Farina being in the party now, and give some, you know, bigger weight in the team compositions for characters that can give large damage percent bonuses, because, well, Mavuika was just kind of doing too much of that on her own. So maybe Farina gets a little bit better in the party now. Maybe someone like Kazuha can get in the party and really benefit from having the resistant shred as well as damage percent bonus off of his own base kit. I still love her. I'm going to drive motorcycles all over Genshin Impact. Hopefully I can get her. We've been saving up a tiny bit. Let me know what you think about the changes down below, what you want to do with this character when she's released. Hit that subscribe button for more. Check out the new videos, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.